Dear student, welcome again. We were discussing the concept of the staffing, and so far we have an idea about the concept and the nature of the staffing, what are the different processes and the importance of the staffing. We have discussed these things in module 26. We have thoroughly understand the process of the staffing, the meaning of recruitment, the benefit of the recruitment for the companies, what are the point of differences between the recruitment and the selection process. In the module 28, the current module, we will be getting an insight about the concept of the selection, the process of the selection, and a glimpse of the employee orientation. So, just we will be summarizing the concept part that we have gone through. In the staffing process, we have tried to define what is staffing. Okay. For any company, it is very essential that the trained and the skilled manpower should be supplied over a period of time. Whenever the company is coming up with a new project, the company need fresh minds or the employees who can think out of the box for the superior performances in their product and the services. So, in the staffing process, the very first thing is that the company should be having an idea about what their goals and objectives for the new project. For example, if the new project is very much focused towards very technological product, so the objective of the company is they are planning to have a new project which is very much focused on some very advanced technological product. So, it is very essential that the company should be hiring the employees who are very prominent and they are very advanced at the technical skills as well. Okay. So, with the very first stage is knowing what the objective and for what purposes you are searching for the new employees. We have discussed these things in the earlier sessions. Then the company will be looking for the recruitment process, then the company will be starting the recruitment process. Now, in the last session we have discussed about what is recruitment process. It is the process of searching the best employee for the vacant post in the organization. There is no number of or there is no criteria regarding the number of application to be applied for a particular post. We have taken one example, like the company require 50 employees, and for that the company floated the application through different sources. Remember, we have talked about the two sources of the recruitment. One is the internal sources and the external sources. So, for instance, using the external sources, the company got 500 application for the post of 50 vacant posts in the organization. So, this will be called as the recruitment process. Alright, when more and more number of what the objective of the company at this stage, more and more number of employee or the candidates should apply for the vacant post. Okay. So, we have thorough understanding about the concept of the recruitment in the earlier session. Now, what the next the company will be doing? They will be selecting only 50 candidates out of 500. So, what are the different criteria, different tests, different selection process, different techniques that will be used by the company to shortlist only 50 candidates out of 500. So, this process will be called as your selection process. So, in this module 28, our objective will be getting an insight about how the employee are selecting the number of candidates out of many applications that they have received. Okay. So, with this we try to explain what is a selection process. According to Dale Yolder, selection process is the process of choosing among the candidate from within the organization or from outside the organization. Okay. So, this is the very first part of the definition. Okay. We have a recruitment process is the very first one, as you can see in the slide. What are the different sources of the recruitment? One was your internal and your external. All right. Internal, we have seen the two method. One is your promotion and another is your transfer, if you can remember. And external, we have too many sources. You can refer to the earlier slide. Okay. So, suppose the company is like hiring some of the technical experts or the technical skilled employee from the internal sources. Okay. We have an idea about what is level of management. Okay. So, suppose a manager at middle level, okay, middle level manager is having expert in technical skill. Okay. And the manager has very wide experiences, too many for too many years the manager is working, suppose 20 years. Okay. So, the manager is having a in-depth knowledge about how the technical thing goes on in the organization. All right. So, manager, the company need a technical expert at the upper level management, okay, upper middle level. So, what the company will be doing? The company will be promoting this employee at the upper level. Okay. With this, the position can be filled up. So, now refer to this definition. Selection process is choosing among the candidate from within the organization or from outside the organization. So, when the employees will be chosen within the organization, then it will be like through the organizational structure or through the hierarchy of the management. But if the company is selecting from the external sources, okay, so company will be giving the application to the various external sources. It could be newspaper, it could be the campus placement, it could be like you are searching it through the employment exchanges, okay, trade unions. Okay, there are too many sources, you can go through it, and selecting the most suitable person for the current position or for the future positions. Okay. So, the definition is very much clear. Selection is the process of choosing the employee from within or from the external sources, or which suits or which is more capable to fill the current position or for the future positions. Okay. So, I hope with this example and with the concept of the recruitment, you got an idea about what is selection process. Okay. Selection process is choosing among the already applied candidate. Again, we can take one example, like 500 candidate applied. Now, in our earlier example, it was 500 candidate applied. Now, you are selecting only 50 candidate. So, 500 is your recruitment and 50 is your selection. That is why selection process is also termed as a negative process. Now, with understanding about the concept of the selection process, we try to define what are the different processes or steps which is required at the like selecting an employee from the vast number of applications received. Okay. Generally, you will see very first step is your screening, or you can see it is a preliminary interview. Second is the application blank. Third one is the employment test, employment interview. So, employment interview is the interview which we know. So, as you can see in this slide, before the interview starts, okay, the company usually go with 3 filtration process before the company call the candidate for the interview process. Okay. Next is, once the candidate clear the interview process, next will be the physical examination, reference check, and last one is the final approval. And one thing is also the rejection process. It means the candidate can be rejected at any stage, be it the preliminary interview or at the reference check. Okay. If all things goes positive, then the employee will be given some call letter or the final approval will be there. So, briefly let us try to understand about each of the stages or each of the processes. Very first one is the screening interview or the preliminary interview. Now, at this stage, suppose the company there are only 10 posts at or 10 vacant posts, okay, and 20,000 employee or 20,000 candidate has applied for the post. So, there is no limit in the number of application to be filled by the different candidate. So, they have filled it 20,000 application, and out of which you will be only choosing 10 candidates. So, imagine how much it will be difficult for the company to select or to call up 20,000 candidates. Okay. So, what the company will be doing? So, company will be again like having a filtration process to limit the number of candidate at the interview process. That is the fourth stage, employment interview. Okay. It is not feasible for the company to conduct the interview for the 20,000 candidates. It will be too much time taking, cost. Okay. So, very first stage the company will be like shortlisting or rejecting some of the candidate who deemed to be ineligible at the very early stage. Let me take one example. Suppose the company has given in the recruitment or the advertisement that for the post you at least require MBA degree with 5 years of experience. So, these were the two basic eligibility for the application. Now, you observed more than 5,000 candidates who applied for the post. Only 5,000 candidates were having the MBA degree as well as experience of 5 years. Okay. So, it means at the very early stage or at the very first stage, you like shortlisted only 5,000 candidates and rejected 15,000 candidates. So, this is your preliminary screening or you call it the preliminary interview. Okay. Second is the application blank. Application blank, like only 5,000 candidates are now eligible, okay, because of the two criteria, that is the requirement of your MBA and second is your 5-year experiences. Now, second is the application blank. Application blank talk about the brief description about the candidate, okay, like what the employees likes and dislikes, their any kind of educational qualification, experiences, their behavior, okay, or any kind of like interest or the future activities to be performed if selected for the post. Okay. So, this will talk about the a kind of submission of resume or the CV to the manager, and too many questions regarding their future prospects or what are the current strategies they are having. Okay. Everything will be detailed, it will be shared with the employer. Okay. So, application blank is not a negative process, there will be no candidate will be rejected based on this purpose. Second process we have discussed. Third process is your employment test. Okay. Now, 5,000 candidate which got went to the next process, you will be conducting some kind of employment test. Okay. You will be calling up all the candidate, 15,000 candidate already rejected because of the eligibility they were not able to met out. Calling up the 5,000 candidate, and again you will be conducting a small test. It could be, yeah, you could be taking some of the logical or the reasoning test. Okay, it may be with respect to some kind of situational test, mental ability test, okay, reasoning, or some kind of case based test. Okay. So, employment test is not like universal thing which where all the company will be having a unique pattern of the test they are conducting. Okay. Suppose the company is hiring employee at the supervisory level. So, they will be more technical employment test. Okay. Suppose the company is hiring some of the employee at the upper level. So, more situational based or case based test will be performed. Now, based on the employment test, you rejected 3000 employees or 3000 candidates, and only 2000 candidates are shortlisted for the interview. Okay. So, you can see out of 20,000, 18,000 candidates are rejected at the very early 3 stages. Only 2000 candidates are eligible because they have shown their mental test, their physical test, okay, or their intelligent test, emotional test, IQ test. So, these things will be evaluated by the company at the employment test. Next, the employment interview. All right. So, employment interview will be the holistic interview, and it will be based on the different criteria or different questions based on the academic qualification, based on the prior experiences, based on what they can contribute towards the organization. Okay. So, it is a one-to-one interview or face to the candidate need to face the panel over there, and each panel will be evaluating the candidate based on the different perspective. And based on that, like you shortlisted, suppose 20 total vacant post was 10, and you shortlisted 15 candidate. Okay. Now, 15 candidate, they will not be given the call offer. Okay. Appointment letter will be given to the candidate based on some other test as well. Okay. So, next test will be your physical test. As you can see, the 4th stage we have the employment test. In the 5th stage, we will be having the physical or the medical test of the candidate. This will be with respect to the mental soundness and the physical potential of the employee to perform the task within the organization. Okay. Whether the employee or the candidate who got selected at the interview stage is mentally capable or physically capable to meet out the challenges in the organization or not. Okay. Whether there is a medical record, whether the medical record of the candidate is healthy or not. If it is not so, the chances is that the company will be incurring too much losses or the cost will be too much high. How? If suppose an employee is having a particular type of disease which is communicable disease, then the employee may spread out that disease to other employee. Okay. And it will be costly for the company because the company will be paying out the medical bills for all the employees. All right. So, a physical test is very much important, and the candidate need to submit the consistent positive medical health report to the organization. Okay. Next is your reference check. Like it is like for the corporate sector, this become very important thing. Like how your employers has given the rating based on, or the previous employer has given the rating based on your performances, based on the behavior. Okay. If there is a positive reference from your past employer, then it is a good thing. But suppose the previous employer has given a negative feedback. In that situation, the company may reject you at the reference point. Okay. So, based on that, suppose some employee were not able to meet out at the physical examination. Okay. Suppose two candidate were not medically fit. One candidate got negative reference. Okay. It means only 12 candidate got the approval letter. Now, we only need to hire 10 candidate as we have taken in the example. Okay. 10 candidate need to be hired, but we have shortlisted 12 as you can see in the slide. So, 2 candidate will be in the waiting list. Okay. Suppose out of the 12 candidate, first 10 candidate are given the appointment letter, and 2 candidate will be, if given the chance, suppose out of the 10 candidate only 9 candidate joined. It may be that once you read out the policies, once you read out the terms and the condition, the employee may not selecting the job. In that situation, 2 candidate is in the waiting list. So, you may call the candidate from the waiting list as well, if the initial 10 candidate will not be joining. What will happen if all the initial 10 candidate will be joined or joined at the particular place? The 2 candidate will be the data for the 2 candidate will be kept for the reference part, okay, or for any requirement in the future, these 2 candidate will be called. Okay. So, this is an overview or the framework of the selection process. I hope it is clear as we have tried to explain this selection process with an example. Okay. Moving beyond, let us try to understand about the employee orientation. Now, with the same example, 10 candidate has been selected. Now, orientation and induction, you can call it as an induction program as well. Now, once the employees are joining within the organization, it is the formal duty of the manager or the organization to orient or to induct the employee with the various employees within the organization. So, as you can see in the slide, employee orientation is known as the induction program, as a new employee in settling down quickly into the job by becoming familiar with the surrounding. So, once you join any organization, that environment or the surrounding is very much alien towards a new employee. So, what the employees, what the manager do? The manager try to induct or conduct a program, it is a formal program which is called as the new employee induction program. New employee will be given a platform to discuss or to get to know about what are the things that the company do, who are the immediate supervisor and who will be the subordinates, what are the different policies of the companies, all right, and there will be interpersonal discussion that will actually get to know about the surrounding within the organization. Okay. So, this is known as employee induction and orientation program. Now, what are the benefit of the employee orientation program? As you can see, improve effectiveness and efficiency of new employee. Okay. So, no matter how much efficient or skill you are, okay, whenever you work in the new situation, it is very difficult for you or for a new employee to cope up with that new working environment, a new culture. So, this particular induction program will help or to it will act as a motivating factor for the employee, so that they will be able to cope up with the new changes in their life. Okay. So, ultimately it will increase the efficiency as well as the effectiveness, all right. Second is it will save the time as well as the cost, okay, because new employee at the very first day or at the very initial week or the month, they will not be able to perform with their full potential, okay, and the organization knows it. So, what could be the solution and what could be the problem that they are not able to perform it? Okay, it is because they are not used to of that environment. They are not getting too much of support from their fellow employees. They are not discussing the problem. Okay. So, what the induction or a good orientation program will do? It will within the short period of time, it will make a good interpersonal relationship within the organizational setup. Okay. So, this will ultimately enhance the efficiency and it will reduce the time as well as the cost for the operation. The third feature of the orientation program is duration can vary from few hours to few days. In some of the job profile, you will see that the employee become very comfortable from day 1 or day 2. All right. Take one example, a technical type of the work at the supervisory level. You will see that the employees are more like busy with the some equipments or some kind of machines, okay, and they need little interaction with the other employees, okay, particularly to the technical managers or the technical employees. Okay. So, a good orientation program will take less time to induct the new employee with the rest of the employees, whereas where the operation of the activity is more oriented towards the group effort or the employee interaction will be very much playing a crucial role in problem solving. In that situation, it could be like the manager is having a larger number of interaction or they are taking more time to get comfortable in discussing the at the interpersonal situation or in the groups. Okay. Fourth feature, as you can see, very important for the industrial works, okay, like in the manufacturing and the industrial setup. It is very important because all these activities of one employees are related with the other employees. If there is a delay in activities of one of the employees or one group, it ultimately increases the time as well as the cost of the other groups as well. Okay. So, particularly in the industrial and the manufacturing unit, it is very important that proper implementation of induction and orientation program can be beneficial for the effectiveness and efficiency of the employee. Okay. With this we have an understanding about what is orientation program, why it is important, what are their important features and the characteristics. Coming next, what should be the objective if an employee or a manager is planning to have a induction program? What should be the things that the manager should be kept in mind while formulating the induction program? So, this will become the objective, what the manager want to achieve with the induction program. Very first one, as you can see in the slide, employees confidence. Okay. So, whosoever the new employees joining the organization, they will be feeling little lost or they may be feeling little hesitant in interacting with the fellow employees, okay, because of which they may be feeling less confident. So, a good orientation program will be helping in developing the confidence of the employee. Second is feeling of belongingness. It will take time, within one day or 1 week, you will not be able to develop a sense of belongingness with the other employees, but your orientation program, training program become a source of like developing or communicating with your fellow employees. Alright. So, with time the employee will be developing a sense of belongingness with the other employees to foster cordial and close relationship. Okay, you will see that the employees who are working, like an employee X and employee Y, okay, they are working within a company and within a department for more than 15 years. Okay. The chances are that they become a part of like a very close friend, and they become part of the family friend as well. Okay. They share the happiness and sorrow throughout their life, and this will help in developing a close relationship with the employee. Okay. So, a good orientation program is a source or a starting point to these building of relationship. Fourth one, to ensure newcomer does not form false impression. Okay. Like through induction and the orientation program, one thing is very much certain that the employee get to know is what are their like policies of the organization, what are the different benefits that the employees is having. Okay. The medical benefit, the insurance, what are the different kind of facilities with respect to the education of their children, okay, the future of their family. Okay, these things are also very much important along with the salary structure of the employee. That is why it will be very much crystal and clear through the induction program that what the company will be giving or what are the opportunities within the company for the new employee, and the employee will not be like at any kind of doubt or any kind of false impression. Next one, to provide necessary information with regarding to the like the policies of the company, okay, like the benefits that the employee will be getting, okay, what are the penal action as well. If the employee is doing any wrongful activity, what the penal activity or the legal activity can be taken against the employee. Okay. So, from like the benefits towards the like the legal action, all that things are mentioned in like a written document, or it is shared to the employee, new employee. So, employee will be like reading out all the necessary information and develop a perception towards the company. Okay. Now, going next, the content of the orientation program. So, briefly we will be trying to like cover up the content part. Very first one, as you can see in the slide, short history and general policy of the company. So, how when the company started, who were the promoters, who were the directors at that time, and the general policies of the company with respect to their different stakeholders. All right. Every company has their own thinking about conducting the business. Okay. So, employee will be getting a like a brief history and the policies things. Second is the product and the services of the company. Like employee will be having a diverse knowledge about what the company is manufacturing. Okay. Structure of the organization. Okay. Like who, what are the different levels of the employees, who are the immediate bosses, who are the subordinates, everything will be there. Location of the departments and the employees facilities, like the physical location of the employees, and policies and the practices. Personnel means your employee itself, we have already discussed it. Personnel means the employee. Rules and regulation, it will be like shared with the employee in a written document. Safety measures within the organization, it is very important that the employee should be knowing what are the safety measures available. Employees activities and the benefits, like what are the different kind of medical benefit, insurance benefit, entertainment benefits, recreational activities, your education of the your children, different benefits should be shared with the employee. So, these things are the basic things which should be communicated with the employee in the orientation program. And last one, we will be discussing about the guidelines of the effective orientation program. Like while you are framing up or while you are planning to have a induction program, what the manager should be like very much cautiously the manager should be thinking about. Okay. Very first one is proceed with the general policies of the organization. Like imagine employees is having the first day in the organization, okay. And in the induction program you are discussing about two technical things with the new employees. The employee may not be able to relate it, or the employee may be lost because it is the first day. It may be that the employee is a fresher, okay. So for the employee it like perspective it will take time. So very first day you need to simply discuss the policies, the procedures, the methods, what are the different kind of practices there, okay. Oriented based on the human touch. It should not be like in the first day you are very much technical. So it will be more of like a gathering or like a meeting rather than like a formal orientation program. It should be formal, it is a formal thing, but at the same time it should be based on the approach of human touch, okay. Like you are discussing the normal thing over there, that will able to like develop a sense of belongingness to the new employee. They will be at the very comfort level. Query resolution, like any employee in joining a new organization, they will be having too much of questions related to different activities, different benefits, alright. So manager should be having like ready-made solution to all the queries of the new employees. Introducing with the co-workers, suppose you are working in a like sales department, okay, and 10 employees in the sales department are recruited. Now it is very important that you should meet out with all the employees if it is a small organization, but particularly to the department where you will be like posted, okay. So your supervisor, who are the subordinate, everything will be very much clear. Time to adapt, like for the new employee you do not expect that like within a week or within 10 days or within a month also, they will be taking time to get to adapt to the like new environment, and they will be trying to understand the human factor as well, like who are the co-workers, how they are behaving, what are their attitude, what are their beliefs, what are their likes and dislikes. So based on that, a manager or the organization should provide time or provide sufficient time to the employee to adapt to the changed environment, okay. So these are some of the factors with respect to the selection process. We have discussed in the module 28 regarding the concept of the selection, defined the selection, process of the selection. We thoroughly understand it with some examples. What is employee orientation and induction program, objective, content part, and lastly we discussed about the guidelines for developing an effective orientation program. So that is all for this session, and I leave you with some suggested books. You can go through it, and in the upcoming module we will be like discussing about the training and development process of the employees or the new employees which has been recruited. That is all. Thank you so much.